So we know that you have read the book, but for the sake of the viewers who have not read the book, we're going to go through quickly what the story is about. So, after the bitter winter at Valley Forge, Rhode Island couldn't get enough soldiers to enlist in the regiment. And they were supposed to send 2 regiments to the Continental Army. If they didn't, the colony would be fined. So we didn't want to have to pay a fine. We needed to get up some soldiers, find some soldiers. And so the officers of the Rhode Island officers came up with the idea of enlisting slaves. After all, Rhode Island was the colony with the most slaves of any state in the North. And so after some convincing, the Rhode Island legislature enacted a bill that would grant freedom to any slave who enlisted in the regiment. And their owners would be compensated by the state, and the soldiers would be paid the same bounty and wages as white soldiers, which was unique. That was a unique part in that bill. Well, as you can imagine, let's see, there we go. As you can imagine, the slaves were very eager to enlist, so very quickly we filled the regiment. But that regiment only had, let's see where I am. They only had about 3 weeks, 3 months to, let me find my space here, sorry. Okay, slaves eagerly volunteered. They responded to the call and became the backbone of the Rhode Island 1st Regiment, known as the Black Regiment. The regiment only had 3 months to train before they were thrown into a major battle, the fight to drive the British from Newport, called the Battle of Rhode Island. Now, the French had promised to help us, and French Count d'Estaing and American General John Sullivan got together to plan an attack. But things didn't go as planned. First of all, there was some disagreement between the 2 of them, and also the French ships were destroyed in a hurricane. So now the French limped away, leaving us alone to face the British. And the British had many more troops than us, and we could not fight them by ourselves at that point, and so we were forced to retreat. Now, the trouble with that is that we had come to Aquidneck Island, so now we're on an island, all our troops, and we were in danger of being captured by the British. And so the British sent their troops up West Main Road and up East Main Road. They were going to encircle and capture us, and they sent their allies, the Hessians, up East Main Road, West Main Road, to capture us. And so we had to stop them. Otherwise, we wouldn't be able to get off the island. So they set up ambushes along East Main Road, and that stopped the British. But the Hessians kept coming. Now, the Hessians were the most fearsome soldiers in the Revolutionary War. They were Germans, they were professional soldiers, they fought all their lives. And so the Hessians thought for sure they could easily punch through our lines and encircle and capture us, because according to one of the men's diaries, one of the Hessians' diaries, they faced wild-looking black men in their shirt sleeves. They would do this no sweat. So the Hessians attacked once. The Black Regiment drove them back. The Hessians attacked a second time. The Black Regiment drove them back. The Hessians attacked a third time, and the Black Regiment, with a little help from some other folks, drove them back and saved our entire army from capture. Now, the Black Regiment went on to fight for the rest of the Revolutionary War, eventually taking part in the battle at Yorktown, where they overcame a British redoubt and were part of our victory there, a victory which forced the British to surrender. Okay, so finally the war is over. What happened to the Black Regiment after that? What happened is that we did keep our promise, and all those slaves were freed at the end of the war, sometimes after a fight from their commander who fought for them to make sure they were allowed to be free. But it was not just them that they were worried about. Their wives and their children weren't free. So many of the veterans of the Black Regiment worked for long, hard years to buy their their families' freedom. But things were changing because whites had fought alongside blacks during the Revolutionary War. And one of the men who fought with the Black Regiment, who was a white soldier, went around giving speeches like this: liberty, independence, freedom were in every man's mouth. They were the sounds at which they rallied and under which they fought and bled. The word slavery then filled their hearts with horror. They fought because they would not be slaves. And one by one, after the Revolutionary War, the northern states passed laws ending slavery. And here in Rhode Island, we ruled that any child born to a slave after March 1st, 1784, was free. And so our book is dedicated to the brave men of the Black Regiment, brave soldiers who proved that all people deserve to be free. Thank you very much.